Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the Superstars of Wrestling series. Got about 6 or 7 more added to the Peacock Network. Always love these 94, 95, 96 related superstars because it's the first time I've seen them in years. Even back in my tape trading days, coming across um, the series after 93 was difficult. 86 to 93 was pretty easy. 93 through 96 was difficult. Anyway, this is the January 28th, 1995 edition featuring Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler on commentary, including a live event segment hosted by Stephanie Wyand. Features a segment on Man Mountain Rock with Rock giving his opinions on various um, wrestlers and also includes Shawn Michaels guaranteeing that he'd have World Champion Diesel as guest on the Heartbreak Hotel the next week. Men on a mission with Oscar defeating Sonny Trout and an unknown enhancement talent. Obviously, Mabel and Mo have not turned heel as of yet. And so that's the basic thing here. They're doing the babyface thing also. A lot of highlights of the nature of Mabel and Mo kind of being I don't want to say floundering tag team at this point, but to some degree they were. And again, Mabel is obviously, as I've mentioned on these in this series before, kind of more of the highlighted guy. He hits a big splash. He hits the spin kick that he was known for at the time, which a guy nearly 450, 500 pounds doing a spin kick, pretty big deal, and then hits the leg drop and gets the victory for Men on a Mission. Men on a Mission, obviously not willing to take too many backward steps. Again, multiple, actually two, almost three Royal Rumble post reports are here. Lots of time wasted there. They hype the Bam Bam Bigelow getting into it with Lawrence Taylor after getting defeated by Bob Sparkplug Holly and the 1-2-3 Kid for the tag team championships, which of course they lost in about a day to the Smoking Guns. But regardless, Bigelow hyping for the Lawrence Taylor thing at the time, probably the biggest thing going on for him at the time, and Shawn Michaels, obviously. They're hyping his dream. He wins the Royal Rumble, and he goes on to win the Royal Rumble. Of course, he's going to challenge Diesel, and later in the program also mentions that he is going to have Diesel on the Heartbreak Hotel. The following week, of course, they had the falling out at the 94 Survivor Series, and that continues to be a kind of a focal point for them going forward. Then we move to Hakushi with Shinja defeating Ben Jordan 145. Gonna grab my phone, so we'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail right after this. And again, Ben Jordan against Hakushi is your next match here. Ben Jordan, kind of a pretty decent enough guy in terms of the decent enhancement guy. Actually was part of Smoky Mountain for a while. Shinja alongside Hakushi. Uh, Hakushi hits a couple of springboard clotheslines, and the like, and ultimately, kind of the diving thing. At the time, 1995, the American audience not used to seeing half the things he did. Like a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker was still a innovative move at the time. Moonsaults to the outside, an innovative move at the time. Not for the Japanese crowd, but certainly for the WWF crowd. And so it's just interesting that looking back, obviously 20 years later, it's or 15 years later, whatever, it's not a big deal. But then, back when it actually, I guess you'd say, mattered more, there's certainly a value there. Quang and Doink up next. Really basic deal there, and Quang kind of doing the Doink coming out with Dink. Dink still a member of the deal here. Quang, of course, Savio Vega under the mask. Vega gets out of the mask by June, so not exactly a super thing there. Quang doing the martial arts thing, punch kick. Dink on the outside distracting Quang quite a bit. Dink also runs over Quang pretty aggressively and kind of does some comedy spots. Finally, Doink gets the roll up and gets a victory. We go back to another presentation for the Royal Rumble review with Todd Pettengill, but also Dink basically getting in the face of Quang, and that's kind of there. And Harvey Whippleman comes in. Dink nails Harvey Whippleman, and away we go. Bam Bam Bigelow doing a Slim Jim commercial, which I had not remembered. Of course, doing these is just an interesting thing. But at this point, Randy Savage has left, and so obviously there isn't that there in terms of Savage being a guy to do the position. That Royal Rumble report takes a good bit of time, probably about 5 minutes out of the show. Obviously, when I cover the Rumble, that will be a greater thing. I understand why on syndicated television they did the reviews to the level they've done them. However, I've also always felt that when you highlight a pay-per-view to the degree that they did post pay-per-view, it kind of makes it like you didn't have to watch. Because you can just find out what happened on free TV. Anyway, so Owen Hart defeats Sean Dakota via submission 215 with sharpshooter, and a fan named Natalie Gentry introduces the match. Owen Hart there does the belly to belly suplex, does the top rope drop kick, hits the sharpshooter, and gets the victory. He brings with him the towel that caused Bret Hart to lose his championship of the Survivor Series. They're still hyping that, so they're still doing at least a little bit of hype for the the Owen and Bret deal there. Kama up next, defeating Matt Hardy. Yes, that Matt Hardy, 1 minute 50 seconds, modified STF. Kama basically doing a more striking based gimmick. Kama certainly a guy who they are trying to get over to get ready for The Undertaker. Basically, Kama comes out and also says he wants higher levels of competition in general, which he doesn't get to his satisfaction. Also, the endorsement of Man Mountain Rock endorsing various superstars, making fun of the heels and acknowledging the baby faces basically there, is a pretty big deal. The Kama thing, more based in striking than average, kind of bouncing on his toes. It's ironic because a lot of people don't put together the connection that he was Papa Shango before because of the difference in look. The Kama thing is there, and he challenges for more competition. Obviously, he eventually joins the $1 Million Corporation, which is, I guess, good for him, at least a little bit more hype for the Royal Rumble Encore presentation back when pay-per-view actually meant something. Henry O'Godwin going to have a match with The Undertaker the following week on Superstars. So we're kind of getting to the point where I guess February sweeps was a bit of a thing. Anyway, more hype around the idea of the Royal Rumble, which actually just seems like that's the majority of the show. Lex Luger still out here at the end of, or the beginning of, end of January, beginning of February. Enhancement talent, Mr. Hudson. I'm trying to remember Hudson's first name here. Ray Hudson. 224 Luger uses what's now known as the Rebel Rack, basically the torture rack. Punch, kick, clotheslines, and that. Needless to say, at this point, Lex Luger not exactly having a lot going on with his career, so that particular deal is all together. So we will kind of balance things out. We'll be back with more right after this.